birthday, love you. Đi ngủ, wake up, play, đi ngủ, wake up. It's one of the most depth-shy guy I never met. For all the kids who watch my interview, you have to watch Akira. Hello, I'm Nori and welcome to Noi. I'm born in '84, so beginning of '90s, so a lot of dance music. I grew up with the dance music, rock music. It was the start of hip hop, but it was not so much in radio at that time. I really love dance music, and I love, for example, I like to move it from real to real.
I like to move it. I like to move it. I like to move it. You like to move it.
It's funny now. I sing it to my daughter, and every time I sing it, she starts to dance. I guess it's a good song. Miles Davis, Kind of Blue. I really love this album. It's with this album I start to really enjoy the jazz music, because jazz for me was a little bit old and complicated, but how Miles Davis make music is really efficient, you know, and everybody can understand. And yeah, I really enjoy this album. I started the graffiti when I was a teenager, like when I was 12. I think that's the thing who introduced me to the hip-hop culture. So yeah, it was funny until I get arrested, and yeah, my parents were not happy at that time. They have to pick me at the police station, and yeah. And I think at that time I stopped. I think, I think today we have plenty of really good TV shows. But back in the days, it was not that case at all, you know. And The Wire, they go really deep. They show how the drug dealers, in some way, they are connected with the whole society.
There are two kinds of kids walking in this building. Stoop kids, corner kids. No, stoop kids. They're the ones that stay on the front steps when the parents tell them. The others go down to the corners.
You follow drugs, you get drug addicts and drug dealers.
Get hands up, get down.
But you start to follow the money, and you don't know where it's gonna take you.
They see how is the fall of America at that time, because it was after the 9/11. Yeah, the writing is really good. That's why it was really powerful and really strong. Yeah, when I was 20, I was really focused on the music and the sound. I forbidden myself all the consoles and video games because I know I love that shit. But I remember it was the release of GTA 3 San Andreas, and I was like, it's amazing, you know? It's like a video game in the real world. It's really about the gang culture in California.
Yeah, this it right here.
Open up.
And the soundtrack was amazing.
A tail ain't nothing but a long booty. A booty ain't nothing but a butt. Shake your ass.
I remember I lived in my brother's house at that time, and yeah, for 10 days I just played don't stop, just đi ngủ, wake up, play, đi ngủ, wake up, and until I finish the game, and after I give back and I don't play video games anymore. There is one radio I really love.
This is the party.
Yeah.
The party on Bounce.
They play funk and soul. Not so much the hip hop, but they play the father of the hip hop. Like I remember Ohio Players, all this funky shit from the 70s. And I think my radio will play a lot of this kind of music. You know? I remember the feeling. She has something in the voice, and especially the interpretation was really different, you know, and she's like a witch, you know. I feel she's really possessed, and she have something really, really, really strong, you know.
You can always be an angel. When everything goes wrong, you see some bad. I'm just a soul whose intentions are good. Oh Lord, please don't let me be misunderstood.
It's like magic, so I think that's why I was fascinated, you know, it's like a witch. When Sue, my wife, get pregnant, she's like, oh yeah, please choose the name. I'm like, okay, I didn't think so much. So I'm like, yeah, if I have a daughter, I will name her Nina. And it was easy. But yeah, Misunderstood is really magic. And one of my favorite rap songs who sampled in Misunderstood is Bishop Lamont. He's from the West Side. And the name is First They Love You. You know, when you sample Nina Simone, as a producer, the really magic thing is to sample the voice. I remember in the Bishop Lamont, he's like, First They Love You. He talk about how people love you, but in fact they don't love you because they love you just because you're famous. And so first they love you, and they use the voice of Nina Simone, and it's really beautiful.
Rappers talk about stacks in they hoods and they raps, but they never give back. They don't. Got a thug in your life, beat you up every night. Goddamn, boo, he don't really.
So I meet DJ Mehdi, is like one of my heroes, the most famous hip-hop producer in France. At that time, there is one band which was really hardcore, is 113. He organized a featuring between Daft Punk. So he got the connection with the really street rap bands and also with the electronic, with only made by white, rich kid. And he can make the connection really easily, and I think that's why I really love him. At that time, I was studying to be a sound engineer, and we have to do a radio show. And yeah, I interviewed him in the McDonald's down off his house. And I asked him, oh, but hip-hop is a easy style to do. You just, it's really basic, you know, it's easy to be a hip-hop producer. And he answered me, it doesn't matter to be simple or complicated. And he told me there is two kinds of music. There is the classic music, was the most complicated, with a lot of rules and a lot of shit. And there is the blues. The blues is really simple. It's always the same chords. It's always 4/time. It's really basic. But the blues, every genre who is popular start from the blues. Techno, house, rock, rap. It's not important to know if it's complicated or simple. The most important is to touch the people. It's funny because I was really confused when I watched this movie because I see how bad is the movie, you know. But I know it's a real story. It's written by a DJ, and it touched me. The movie starts with the hero. His name is Sven Love. He's 15 years old. He started with Daft Punk. He's a successful DJ. But you see how the time passed. You hear Daft Punk in the radio, and him is still DJ in his teenage dream, you know. I think music is a teenager passion, you know. But how to get old in this with this passion, I think that's the thing which is really interesting, and this movie is really beautiful about that. The Marie Kondo book, The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up, is a really good book because it's not a book about how to learn to clean. But it's more try to understand your mind and try to explain to you why you're messy. You're messy because you just keep things, but these things is not only things. It's a souvenir, it's memories, it's some feelings, and you're scared to put away these things. At that time, I have like hundreds of CDs, vinyls, tapes, and I was like, oh, I have to take everything because I'm a musician, so if I trash this shit, I will lose my identity. I start to be minimalist with this book. And at the end, I was at the point, all my life can fit in 2 suitcases. And when I had that, like, okay, maybe it's time to move out of France and maybe move in Vietnam. I was a kid or a teenager when I watched Akira for the first time. It was like a big shock for me, a big cultural shock. And I used to sample one scene especially. Tetsuo, the main character, is in the bed and he's like, maybe he's on drug or on some medicine, and there is some dolls who start to wake up. And the music is... The thing I love with the Japanese people, to do a sci-fi movie, they will make music like ancestral music, you know, and I think this contrast is really interesting. This kind of soundtrack can be created like 1,000 years ago, you know. There is no guitar, no DJ, no shit. And these voices are amazing, so I used to sample it and I put, even in Daichi at the end, you can, if you pay attention, you will listen the voice of Akira in Daichi. I love to sample voices, you know. It's like you play with some spirits, you know, like a witch, and I like that. No, I like autotune because it brings some frequencies and harmonics that are really beautiful. And I love also the robotic feeling, you know, and maybe it's connected with the idea of the AI and how we will be replaced by robots. Now with the singing, we have this algorithm, this AI who can correct, and also it brings this robot voice. So I think it's really beautiful. All the songs are really emotional. I think the contrast is really interesting. So you know, in France they have a popular band named PNL, and they do sad songs about melancholia, about the melancholia of the world, but with the robot voice, and I think it's really beautiful. Yeah.
Wow, 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 à l'ammoniaque. Wow, 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 je t'aime. Wow, 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 à la folie. Wow, 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 passionnément. Wow, wow, wow.
Yeah, the new thing I want to sample is the trucks of Saigon. It gives some tension because the noise, also the trucks in Saigon is only in the night. So I think is in terms of emotion, is really interesting, the trucks in Saigon. Tillin, because I see her on Rap Viet show and I think she's really talented. I love her voice. She has a really special voice, really in the high frequencies, and she's also a really good dancer, and I think she's really funny. I got in my pocket, my favorite this moment is some earplug. Saigon is really noisy, and because I'm a musician, I use my ears a lot, and they can be tired, you know. So that's why I put earplug and I'm more chill, and I can focus on myself. I can even focus on my breathing, you know. I can hear me breath, and it's good. You know.
Hi Nodi, this is Dustin.
Oh, Dustin, đẹp trai, huh? Really đẹp trai, huh?
About the Gay Project. Who are your listeners? Can you describe your audience? Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dustin, for your question. Guys, some friends in Saigon. It's a collective who do parties, but a lot of different stuff too, but mainly parties. The idea is to create the new Vietnamese electronic scene. And I work with them a lot, and it's good because there is some Vietnamese people, there is some Viet Kieu, you know, but mainly Vietnamese people. And about the audience of Gay is, I think, is the young people, mainly the young people, these are, let's say, 20s, who grew up with internet, definitely. I feel they have so much energy. Maybe they don't know how to express it. So that's why Gay is, I think they really enjoy it. Yeah, you can see how the young kids, they really excited, and that's why it's really vui to be at Gay. Yeah.